I destroyed my family for 8 months of feeling young again, and my ex-husband just showed me exactly what I lost. I'm 43 now, but this story starts when I was 41, living in a quiet suburb outside Denver with my husband Mark and our 2 daughters, Ava and Riley. Mark was a former Army combat medic who worked night shift as an ER nurse, the kind of steady, reliable man who never raised his voice, who came home smelling like hand sanitizer and coffee, and still kissed me on the forehead every morning before bed. We had 18 years together. On paper, everything was fine. In my head, everything felt gray. I felt invisible, middle-aged, like the version of me that used to turn heads had quietly died somewhere between soccer practices and PTA meetings. So when my new regional manager, Daniel, started paying attention to me at work, laughing at my jokes, texting me about nothing, I let it happen. I told Mark I'd joined a 6 a.m. spin class 3 days a week. Instead, I was driving 40 minutes to a hotel off the interstate. That spin class lasted 8 months. I told myself it was harmless, that it would fix something broken in me, that no one would ever know. I was wrong on every count. Mark found out because I got sloppy. I left my phone on the kitchen counter one Saturday while I showered, and it buzzed with a photo I should have deleted weeks earlier. He didn't wake me up screaming. He didn't throw anything. He didn't even confront me that night. What he did was worse in hindsight, because it meant he already knew exactly what he was going to do. Sunday at 2 a.m. while I slept, he went into our daughter's rooms and kissed both of them on the forehead. Ava, 17 at the time, later told me she stirred half awake and thought she dreamed it, and he left. He drove to Daniel's apartment complex across town. What happened next took maybe 4 minutes, according to the police report I read much later. Fractured orbital bone, broken jaw in 2 places, 3 cracked ribs, a collapsed lung. Daniel spent 11 days in the ICU. Mark's hands, per his old service record, were literally registered as a trained lethal weapon from his combat training, which the prosecutor read aloud in court like it was a title on a business card. He didn't fight the charges. He took a plea deal, aggravated assault, 6 years, eligible for early release at 4.5 with good behavior. He never once looked at me during sentencing. That was the last time I saw him for years. What I didn't expect was how fast the rest of my life would follow him out the door. Ava and Riley stopped speaking to me within a month. Not screaming matches, not dramatic fights, just silence, then a moving truck. They went to live with Mark's parents 2 states away in Ohio. Every letter I wrote came back unopened. Returned to sender, stamped in the same blue ink like a punishment with a paper trail. I sent birthday cards with cash tucked inside. Sent back. I sent Christmas gifts 3 years running. Sent back, unopened, every single time. My company let me go quietly 8 weeks after the arrest. Restructuring, they called it. Though everyone in that office knew restructuring meant nobody wanted the woman whose affair ended in an ICU visit answering client calls. I sold the house within the year because I couldn't afford it alone, and eventually landed a paralegal job that paid maybe half what I used to make. I wrote Mark 63 letters over those years in prison. 63. I counted because counting was easier than accepting he'd never write back. Not once. Then, this past March, almost 7 years after that Sunday morning, I ran into him at a Kroger parking lot of all places. He looked older, grayer, but calm in a way I didn't recognize. We stood there for a minute in silence before he pulled out his phone, unprompted, and showed me a photo. Riley's wedding. She got married in October in a backyard strung with lights, and she looked luminous, laughing at something out of frame. He told me Ava had just finished nursing school, following in his footsteps, and that both girls were doing better than fine. They were genuinely happy, thriving, whole, and had built that life entirely without needing me in it. Then he said something I'll never forget. I'm not here for an apology. I don't need one anymore. I just wanted you to know we're okay. And he walked back to his car and drove away, and that was it. No closure speech, no cathartic tears, no reconciliation fantasy. Just a man who rebuilt an entire life out of the wreckage I created, letting me know I was no longer even a footnote in it. I drove home that night to my empty 1-bedroom apartment and sat in my car in the parking lot for almost an hour, finally understanding what 8 months of feeling wanted had actually cost me. Everything. Permanently. While everyone I destroyed learned to live beautifully without me.